Hi everyone, and welcome to our first live event celebrating Maths Week London. My name is Mrs. Dolling and I'm the Director of Maths here at Leo Academies, and I'm going to be your quiz host for today. We're really proud here at Leo Academy Trust to be supporting Maths Week London so we can promote and celebrate all of your fantastic maths learning across the capital. We would love to see how you're getting on with this quiz. So whether you're at home or at school, can you get your teacher, your parent, your sibling, whoever is with you to take lots of photos of you taking part? Because we can't be together doing this as I had originally planned, this is a really nice way for us to still connect and see what everyone else is getting up to. In a moment, Miss Kotop is going to explain how you can join the quiz online. You don't have to do it online to take part. You can circle your answers on a printed answer sheet if you have one. If you don't worry, you can simply write your answers down on a piece of paper to check at the end. We would love to have you doing it online though, because I want to see all of your answers and see how you're getting on at home. If you're watching the video back after the live event, or if you think the questions are going a bit too fast for you, feel free to pause the video and do it at your own pace. You don't have to keep up with the timer if you don't want to. So if you're not doing it on a device, get your bit of paper or your printed answer sheet ready. And if you are doing it on a device, I'm now going to hand over to Miss Kotop, who's going to explain how you can join the quiz online.
Okay, hi everyone, my name is Miss Kotop and I'm going to be taking you through how you get on to join using Nearpod. So I'm just going to bring this in now. There we go. Perfect. So you'll see at the moment that I have YouTube open on the side here. So the first thing that I need to do is to go on to a new tab, and I'm going to go to nearpod.com. Once I'm on to nearpod.com, what I'm going to do is to go into the student section here where it asks me to join a lesson. And the code that you're going to need to enter is WKEOZ. There's no capital letters. That's all you need to join. And then all you need to do is tap on this icon here. This will then take you to a welcome to this session screen where you need to enter your name on there. Once that's in, tap on join session. And then it's going to say, welcome, please wait for your teacher to start the lesson. Now, so that you can see Mrs. Dolling go through the questions, what you'll want to make sure that you do is to split your screen. So to do that, you'll see at the top here, I have my tab. So I have my YouTube tab here and I have my Nearpod tab here. All I need to do is drag the Nearpod one to one side of the screen here and do exactly the same with that YouTube window there. So this is my YouTube screen here that you can see. So I can see everyone here. And then on my right-hand side, I have Nearpod sitting ready to go. So just to show you again, you should have your window with Nearpod in. Make sure that you drag and pull it to one side until you get that ghost window. Let it go and then do exactly the same with that YouTube window there. I can start to see lots and lots of you have joined, which is fantastic. So I'll pull in Mrs. Dolling now. I'm going to leave and it will be almost time to start with some practice questions first.
Okay, thank you, Miss Kotup. So that's how you join if you are on a device. And I will just give you a couple of moments to log on to Nearpod and put the code in, and then you can join our quiz in online. Perfect. So I can see lots of you are joining online, so we're nearly ready to start. The code is WKEOZ. So the code is WKEOZ. WKEOZ. Because I can see lots of you are asking for the code to join in online. WKEOZ is the code. Okay, so we've got lots of you online, so I'm going to make a start. So welcome to the Tubes Lines quiz. Now, I did a lot of research on the tube lines for this quiz, and I'm just going to, if we go on to the next slide, there's a really cool website which I'm going to show you where you can explore the London Underground. This is what it looks like. It's like a spider web of all these different lines. And all the different coloured lines are a different tube line. And all of the little circles or little lines are tube stations. So I'm going to leave a link to this website that you can go and explore later at your own time. It's really cool. And every time I look at the tube map, I learn something new. And some people have memorised all of it, which is very impressive. So my quiz today is based on the London tube lines. Now, there are 11 tube lines in total. So 11 tube lines in total with all of those different colours. I'm just going to go on the next slide so that you can see. While we're getting ready for this quiz, and while people are still joining on with the code WKEOZ, I want you to estimate, having just seen that tube map, how many tube stations are there in the London Underground, do you think? This isn't an official quiz question because there's no maths involved, you're just guessing, but just have a think to yourself. How many tube stations are there in the London Underground? Have a think. I'm going to reveal the answer to this at the end of the quiz. I'd love to hear what your estimates are for how many tube stations there are in the London Underground. So let's look at the different tube lines that there are and the numbers, because that's what we're going to be working with during our quiz. So as I said, there are 11 tube lines. Look at the number of stops in each tube line. So the brown line, the Bakerloo line, has 25 stations. The central line, which is the red line, has 49. The circle line, which is yellow, has 36. The district line, which is green, has 60. The Hammersmith and City line, which is pink, has 29. The Jubilee line, which is sort of grey silver colour, has 27. The Metropolitan line is purple and it has 34 stops in it. The Northern line is black and it has 50 stops in it. The Piccadilly line, which is dark blue, has 53. The Victoria line, which is sort of a light blue, has 16. And the Waterloo and City line has just two stops in it. It's a very, very short line. So that is what we're going to be using during this quiz. I'm going to be asking you a series of questions about these numbers and asking you to be answering all sorts of different questions on them. To get you started and to get you familiar with it, we're going to do 2 practice questions, which I think you're going to find really, really easy. But it's just to get you used to clicking or circling or writing down your answers in whatever way you want on your bit of paper. So let's start with practice question 1. Now, I've given you a minute for this because I don't think it'll take you guys very long. It's just a warm-up. So let's have a look at our practice question 1. Get ready, although it's an easy one. Which tube line has a number of stops that is less than 10? I told you it'd be an easy one. So get familiar with how to scroll down, how to click on the answers, or if you've got an answer sheet, circle it, or if you're writing it down, write down either the tube line or the number. but it's a nice, easy question to get us started. And I've given you a whole minute to answer. Which tube line has a number of stops that is less than 10? Nice way to warm up our brains on this Tuesday morning. So hopefully you've managed to navigate scrolling, clicking, writing down, circling, however it is you are answering. Oh, you've got 10 seconds left if you haven't worked this one out already. Which tube line has a number of stops that is less than 10? Okay, your time is up. Hopefully you all got the Waterloo and City line. It just has 2 stops. So well done, guys, for getting that right. I've got another practice question for you now. It's a little bit harder than the last one, but again, it's just to give us an idea of getting used to the quiz. So let's have a look at our next practice question. So it's going to be easy. So which tube line has a number of stops that is even? So this practice question, you actually have to click multiple options. Go through all the different tube lines and click or circle or write down all of the ones that are even. And just as a reminder, in case we need it, even numbers end in 2, 4, 6, 8, and 0. So you've got about, half a minute left to do that. A nice, easy, warm-up practice question just to get our brains in gear and our brains working. So, which tube line has a number of stops that is even? Oh, we're coming to the end now, so you've got 10 seconds left. Three, 2, 1, and stopped. Right, well done, guys. That was just a little bit of a warm-up for you to get used to it. And the tube lines that are even, you have got the Circle line, which has 36 stops, the District line, which has 60 stops, the Metropolitan line, which has 34 stops, the Northern line, which has 50 stops, the Victoria line, which has 16 stops, and don't forget the Waterloo and City line, which has 2 stops. Okay, we've got our practice questions out the way. We've had a go at answering them. We're now going to start the quiz. So for these questions, you're going to have 2 minutes to answer the questions. So you might have to click multiple options. Depends on what the question is. So when you're ready, let's start our first question of the quiz. Right, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Which tube line has a number of stops that is in the 4 times table? So have a look down. Which tube line has a number of stops that is in the 4 times table? So have a look at all of the different lines. Which ones are in the 4 times table? If you find that me talking and giving hints is really distracting, you can just mute me. Or if you want a challenge, just mute me. But if you don't, I will be talking throughout the 2 minutes to give you some sort of helpful tips. So the 4 times table. Now, you probably have only learnt up to 12 times 4 at school, but can you use that knowledge to work out bigger 4 times table facts? For example, can you add together numbers from the 4 times table to help you? Because if you add together numbers from the 4 times table, then you will get a number that is in the 4 times table. So I'll be quiet for the last bit. You've got about 20 seconds left. Which tube lines are in the 4 times table? You've got 10 seconds left until we reveal the answers. So check your work. Are you happy with it? 5 seconds left. Okay, time is up. So let's have a look at what the answers were to that question. Which of the tube lines are in the 4 times table? Well, the Circle line with 36 stops, that's in the 4 times table. The District line, if I just scroll down, with 60 stops is in the 4 times table. And the Victoria line with 16 stops is also in the 4 times table. Well done if you got all 3 of them, you get a point. Right, let's go on to our second question. So you're going to have 2 minutes for this question. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Which tube line has a number of stops that is in the 3 times table? Which tube line has a number of stops that is in the 3 times table? For those of you who don't want a hint, you can mute me now. For those of you who aren't sure how to work out if a number is in the 3 times table, here's my tip. Add together the digits of the number. If it's a multiple of 3, then it's in the 3 times table. If the digits add up together and they are not a multiple of 3, then it's not in the 3 times table. So use that tip to help you work out 3 times table facts that are above 12 times 3, which you've been learning at school. I'll be quiet for the last bit to give you some time to think of which tube lines have a number of stops that are in the 3 times table. Right, 20 seconds left. Which tube line has a number of stops that's in the 3 times table? Good way to revise all those number facts while on lockdown. Oh, we are into the last 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Okay, time is up. Let's have a look at the answer. Which of the tube lines are in the 3 times table? Well, the answers are the Circle line again. 36 is in the 3 times table. And I tell you how I know. 3 add 6 equals 9, and that's a multiple of 3. And the other one you should have got is the District line, which has 60 stops. That is also in the 3 times table. 6 add 0 is 6. And also, I know that 10 times 3 is 30, and 30 and 30 is 60. So 60 must be a multiple of 3. Well done if you got those questions right. If you got those 2 answers, you get a point. Let's go on to our next question. And thank you so much. We're having lots of photos coming in of people taking part. Please do keep them coming in. It's great to see what you're doing at home or at school, because we can't all be together. Right, our next question. 2 minutes to answer this next question. 3, 2, 1. So question C, which tube line has a number of stops that is in the 9 times table? Which tube line has a number of stops that is in the 9 times table? So I'm going to give you a hint for how to work out if a number is in the 9 times table using your fingers. Do you guys know this trick? Have you learnt it at school? If you don't want any tips, you can mute me now. So to help you work out if a number is in the 9 times table, you can use your fingers. So if you wanted to work out 3 times 9, for example, I put my 3rd finger down and I have 2 fingers and then 7 fingers. So 3 times 9 is 27. I think I just gave you a bit of a hint there, guys. If I wanted to work out 4 times 9, I put my 4th finger down and I have 3 fingers and then 6 fingers. So I'm actually not going to say that number because that's helping you out too much. Let me do another one. If I wanted to work out 9 times 9, I put my 9th finger down and I've got 8 fingers on one side and 1 finger on the other. So 9 times 9 is 81. So that's my little tip. I'll be quiet for the last bit to let you work out which tube line has a number of stops that is in the 9 times table. Last 10 seconds. Time is up. Let's have a look at what the answers are. So which tube line has a number of stops in the 9 times table? Well, we've got the circle line. Again, that circle line is popular. 36 is in the 9 times table, but also the Jubilee line with 27 stops is in the 9 times table. Well done if you got both of them. You get a point. Let's go on to our next question. So our next question, you're going to have a little bit longer for this. Let's go with our next question. Okay, so our next question is, which tube line has a number of stops that is a prime number? Which tube line has a number of stops that is a prime number? Now, for those of you who don't know what a prime number is, a prime number can only be divided by 1 and itself. Can only be divided by 1 and itself. So it won't be in any of the other times tables. It probably won't be an even number because 2 would be able to go into it. So which one is a prime number? So which of these tube lines has a number that is a prime number? That means only be divided by 1 and itself. No other numbers can go in it. And remember, there's a certain prime number that you might forget. There is one even prime number. Don't forget that. What is the one even prime number? Don't leave that one out. Okay, I can see lots of answers coming in, so keep them coming. Which one is a prime number? Don't forget the even prime number. Right, well done for answering that one, guys. Let's have a look at the answers for this. So this was a really tricky one. The Hammersmith and City line is a prime number at 29. The Piccadilly line is a prime number at 53. And don't forget, the 2 is the only even prime number because only one in itself can go into it. So the Waterloo and City line is also a prime number. Well done. If you got all 3 of those correct, you get a point. Let's go straight on to the next question, question E. So, question E is, what is a square number? Which one of these tube lines has a number that is a square number? Now, a reminder of what a square number is. A square number is a number times by itself. So it could be 2 times 2, 3 times 3, 4 times 4, 5 times 5, 6 times 6, 7 times 7, 8 times 8, 9 times 9, and you get the idea. That's what a square number is. So which one of these tube lines has a number that is a square number? And I'll be quiet now to let you work it out. So which one of these tube lines has a number of stations that is a square number? And remember, how do you write square numbers? Can you remind yourselves? It's with that little 2 in the top right-hand corner of a number. That's what squared means. So I can say this one, 2 squared, which equals 4, would be a normal 2, and then a little 2 in the top right-hand corner. That would mean 2 squared. Well done with all of those answers coming in. Some interesting answers here. Look carefully at the numbers, guys. Here's something to think about if you have answered this already. Are squared numbers always even? What do you think? Are squared numbers always even? It's a common misconception. Have a look at your answer sheet. Is it true? Is it false? Are squared numbers always even? What do you think? So, squared numbers. 2 times 2, 3 times 3, 4 times 4, 5 times 5, 6 times 6, 7 times 7, 8 times 8, 9 times 9. Which one of those tube lines has the number of stations that is a squared number? Okay, let's go to the answers. So, squared numbers. Well done if you spotted these. The Bakerloo line is a squared number because 5 times 5 equals 25. That Waterloo and City line, it comes up all the time. The Waterloo and City line is squared with the number 2 because 1 times 1 equals 2. So well done if you got that one. This central line is a squared number at 49 because 7 times 7 equals 49. And the Victoria line is also a squared number because 4 times 4 equals 16. Well done if you got those ones right. Let's go straight on to our next question, which is question F. So our next question for question F is this. Which tube lines have a number of stations that are a factor of 106? Which tube line has a number of stations that is a factor of 106? So which numbers go into 106? Which ones are factors of 106? So there are a few things to think about here. Is 106 an even number? What is half of 106? Do you know if 106 is in any of the times tables? You've got a little bit longer to answer this one. Which one of the tube lines has a number of stations that is a factor of 106? And I'll leave you some time to work that out. Thank you for all of you who are sending in pictures. It's lovely to see what you're getting up to at home or at school, of you joining in online. So thank you for those of you who are sending them in. Keep them coming. So which one of these stations, or maybe it might be more than one, is a factor of 106? Which one of these numbers would fit into the number 106? I'll give you a clue, guys. There's more than one answer. That's my clue. There's more than one answer to this one. Which of these tube lines has a factor that is, has a number that is a factor of 106? Okay, you're down to 1 minute. I'm sure there's lots of you furiously calculating away, adding up different numbers, seeing if they make 106. Last bit of time now. So I can confirm that there are 2 answers to this question. There are 2 answers to this question. That's my little hint for you. That's my tip. Okay, we're coming up to our last 10 seconds. Okay, last 10 seconds, get those answers written if you haven't already. Okay, let's go through the answers. So which tube lines has a number of stops that is a factor of 106? The answers are the Piccadilly line at 53 is a factor of 106 because half of 106 is 53. And then the Waterloo and City line at number 2 is also a factor because 106 is an even number. So 2 would definitely go into and be a factor of 106. Well done for getting those questions right. So let's go on to our next one. Question G. Which numbers or which tube line has a number of stations that is factors of 100? So which stations, or which tube lines, I should say, have a number of stations that are factors of 100? So think about, you can always think about your, multiplication bonds to 100. What numbers go into 100? Oh, answering already, some of us. You can probably hear me typing away as I'm scrolling through all of your answers and seeing how many of you are getting them correct. So which tube line has a number of stops that is a factor of 100? So things to do, you can halve 100. You can keep halving 100 actually. Once you halve 100, halve it again. See what you get. And also think about, is 100 an even number or is it an odd number? And if it's an even number, then you definitely know one of the factors of 100. Okay, so well done those of you who have answered which tube line has a number of stops that is a factor of 100. I can reveal that there are 3 answers to this question, and the answers are this. 25 is a factor of 100 with the Bakerloo line. That Waterloo and City line, it keeps coming up, doesn't it? Well, it's an even number 100, so the Waterloo and City line fits in with number 2. And also the Northern line at 50 is also a factor of 100. So well done. If you got all 3 of those, you get a point. Now let's go on to the next one. And the next question is a bit trickier. And there's actually going to be multiple answers to this. So listen carefully. Question H. Okay, you ready? What combinations can be added together to make 63? So have a look at all the numbers. There are 2 sets of addition equations within those numbers that equal 63. So your answer, there's actually going to be 4 numbers, because it's going to be something add something equals 63, and also something add something equals 63. So I'm going to give you a bit longer for this one, because I'm guessing you're going to be doing a lot of adding away. What stations can you combine together so whether they're added together, they make 63? So your target number is 63. Have a look at the tube lines. Add up the 2 stations that make 63. And once you found one way of doing it, there is another way as well. So you can have 2 addition equations here. So that means there's actually 4 numbers that would be an answer. So write down the numbers in the equation. So I'm guessing lots of you are furiously doing some column addition as we speak. 63 is your target number. So just to remind you that there are 4 answers to this. There are 4 answers to this, because there are 2 sets of numbers that can be added together to make 63. This is a tricky one. And when I was writing these questions, I was doing a lot of adding up. For those of you who have found one way of making 63, I've got a bit of a tip for you. Look at the other numbers and see if you can see any same difference. So if you've got one equation that makes 63, so something adds something, then have a look at the other numbers and see, well, what other numbers are there that if I used a same difference model would also use 63? So if you took away the same number from each of the numbers in your equation that makes 63, or if you added the same number, would you get to any of the numbers here? That is my tip for you. So I'm going to give you a few more minutes to do this. Oh, thank you so much for the pictures that are coming in. Great to see what you're getting up to at home and at school. And it's nice to see what you're all doing because we can't all be there together. I'm really curious as to how many have you got right so far? I want to hear your scores at the end, so make sure you're totting up as you go along. So which stations add up to make a total of 63? There are 2 different addition equations you can do here. Okay. We're coming up to the end of this question. Hopefully, if you found one way of doing it, you can find the other way of doing it. And if not, that's fine. Just pause this video and you could do it in your own time. Okay, let's get on with the answers. What are the answers to this question? Well done if you got all 4 correct, because there were actually 2 different possibilities. You could have had the circle line, which has 36, and the Jubilee line, which is 27. 36 add 27 makes 63. You also could have had the Hammersmith and City line, which is 29, and the Metropolitan line, which is 34. They add together to make 63 as well. Well done if you found all 4 combinations. You get another point. Now let's go straight on to our next question, which I'm hoping you'll find okay because it's kind of linked to one of the other ones we did. So question I, if you're doing it on paper, question I is this. Have a look at the tube lines and the number of stops in each tube line. Which 3 numbers make a multiplication equation? Which 3 numbers make a multiplication equation? So I want the full equation. Factor times factor equals product. And for those of you who've spotted, it's kind of related to one of the questions that we did before. So which 3 numbers can be put together to make a multiplication equation? Factor times factor equals product. Oh, I've got lots of answers coming in. You're doing really well with this one. I think the previous question might have helped us out with it, and that's a big hint that I'm giving you there. So which 3 numbers can make a multiplication equation? And I actually tried to do this with different numbers, but it didn't work. It was really frustrating because one of them was nearly there. So if you finished it, there was one that I nearly got, but it didn't quite work, and it was really frustrating. Okay. Nearly coming to the end of this one. Okay, let's go through the answers to this one. And I'll just tell you the one that really frustrated me. I really wanted the Waterloo and City line, which was 2, times the Jubilee line, which is 27. I thought it would make the Piccadilly line at 53, but 2 times 7 equals 54. So that really bugged me. It didn't work. But nevertheless, here are the correct answers. 2 times 25 equals 50. Or you could have had 50 equals 25 times 2, or 25 times 2 equals 50, or 50 equals 25 times 2. Any of a combination like that would have been absolutely fine. Well done if you got those 3. Now let's get ready for our last question of this quiz. Question J, and it's all about rounding this one. So question J is this, and listen very closely. When rounded to the nearest 10, which of these numbers would round to 30? When rounded to the nearest 10, which of these numbers would round to 30? So just to give you a hint for those of you who aren't sure or have forgotten about rounding, if a number ends in 5 or more, you round up. If it's 4 or less, you round down. So that's our sort of helpful rounding tip. 5 or more, round up. 4 or less, round down. So which one of these would round to 30? I'll give you a bit of time to work them out. Look at all of them. I chose 30 for a reason, because I'm trying to trick some of you. Don't be tricked. Look carefully at the numbers. Which ones would round to 30? While you're working out that last question, please do keep sending in photos. I've loved seeing what you've been getting up to at home. It's really nice to see you taking part, because I can't be there with you. So while you're finishing up this last question, if you haven't already, please do let us know how you got on. And in a minute, when I reveal the answers, I definitely want to hear what score you got as well. Okay. Let's go through the answers. Let's go through the answers to this question. When rounded to the nearest 10, which of these tube lines would round to 30? Well done if you got, there are actually 3 that would round to 30, and there are a couple of sneaky ones in there. So the Hammersmith and City line at 29, that would definitely round up to 30. The Metropolitan line at 34, you can round that down to 30. And the Jubilee line at 27 would round up to 30. Also on here, which, oh my goodness, it's not been circled. Oh dear. The Bakerloo line at 25 would also round to 30. Can you believe that? We missed out one. Well done if you got that one at home. The trick one, the Circle line at 36, that does not round to 30, because 36 would round up to 40. So there were actually 4 answers for this one. There was the Bakerloo line at 25, the Hammersmith City line at 29, the Jubilee line at 27, and the Metropolitan line at 34. So well done if you got all of those. And look, even I missed one out, so I wouldn't even get my own point. Thank you so much for joining in with this live quiz. Before you go, I'm just going to reveal how many stations there are in the London Underground overall. Can you remember your estimate from the start of the video? What did you guess? How many did you think there were? Well, I'm actually going to reveal how many stations there are over the whole of the London Underground. There are actually 270 tube stations in the London Underground. And here's another fact for you. They cover 402 kilometres. Well done if your guess was nearly right. Even if you were wrong, well done for guessing. Before you go, I just want to let you know that Wednesday and Thursday this week, we will also be having some live events. On Wednesday, we've got our 24-game tournament, and all you need to join that is a piece of paper and a pencil. We're going to be doing the 24-game live. And then on Thursday, I've got another quiz lined up for you, the London Landmarks quiz. We're going to be doing something similar. But this time, I have written lots of questions all to do with the height of London landmarks, and we're going to be doing some calculating with it. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know how you got on. Let me know what your score was. Compare it with your friends. Let me know how you and your class did. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for our next live events. Bye.